So, and they are going to be presenting this morning. So the best comment is going to get that. So good morning, Eileen. Good morning, Nicole. It's great to have everyone on board. I think it's time to get to our first international speaker.
Yes. So a big heart of Schoolscape and these kind of webinars that we do is to really help schools transition into the digital age, so we say. So I know many of you are, some of you are just started the process, some of you are far downside the process. But what we really saw in COVID is that people adopted tech rapidly, and now there's a bit of a mixed basket of things. And that's proving to present some challenges in schools. So today and tomorrow, this morning and in the afternoons, we're going to be solution focused. So absolutely focusing on what is the best tech out there, and what are the solutions that really kind of come and help schools transition through the kind of challenging mix of tech they have to tech that really enables powerful and impactful educating. But we can't do that if we aren't also bringing the safe, secure side of using tech responsibly in schools into the mix. So the premise that we start all of these events with is to bring on our, what do we call them? Our preferred, we just love SonicWall. We love what they're doing in education. They really have spent the last few years focusing on brilliant suite of education focused products that kind of ring fence all the technology you're bringing into schools. So this morning, very excitingly, our first speaker is Mr.
Ziyad.
Oh my God.
Ziyad is on stage.
Ziyad,
We're going to pull up a screen now that will show where he's from.
Please join us on stage. He's from Al Dhafra Private School in the UAE, and actually in Abu Dhabi. And this is an American curriculum private school with 1,200 kids in it. So that's really exciting. And he's going to just be presenting of what they've done to secure their school in Abu Dhabi, and just share some of his best practices, some of the thinking around it. And then we're going to have Ashley Lawrence, that actually is the industry expert, the solution provider, come pop on stage afterwards and explain kind of some of the more technical things that they've actually accomplished there, which are completely transferable and are doing in many South African schools already. So welcome, Ziyad. Ziyad, you can join us on stage now. It's great to have you here for the first time at Schoolscape virtual. Wonderful.
Good morning, and thank you. First, let me check. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we've got you loud and clear. Thank you, Ziyad.
Thank you so much. So good morning, and maybe good afternoon if some other joiners from other countries or regions. And thank you for hosting me today with the SonicWall team. I'll just start with introducing myself. My name is Ziyad Ashour, and I'm from UAE, and I'm the head of ICT for the Fear Holdings. The Fear Holdings is a company holding schools and some other entities. And we have 3 schools. We have one in Abu Dhabi and other 2 schools in Al Ain, which is different city. So basically, I'm going to start with my history with SonicWall and other firewalls. So at the beginning, let me start with what had happened with the COVID, which has recently happened over the two years back. We have had a previous, I would say, firewall where it is really, I wouldn't say, it's good when it comes to safeguarding, but it didn't give us the best, I would say, protection in terms of the cybersecurity or in terms of filtering, and it didn't give us also I would say, the needs while we are in the pandemic. So that firewall, for example, the consume of download and upload during the pandemic, it was huge and something really like we need to enhance in-house and in order to accommodate the use of bandwidth. So we were able to, as a school, and as American curriculum, and as Al Dhafra is one, I would say, top 10 schools in UAE are using devices, let's say one-to-one device, which is mean like each student has a device plus the teacher, and teachers have maybe two or more. Means like a student has one device and the teacher has his own, I would say, mobile, and one laptop provided from the school, and maybe other devices or mobile. So it's I would say everyone in the school using digital devices. So with the previous firewall, we tried our best, and I would say we have contacted the ISP, the internet service provider here, and they said you have to increase your internet lines, which we really did, to be honest, we did. So we were having 2 internet lines before the pandemic. We moved it to 6 lines. So it's triple, not double even. And unfortunately, we found out that firewall could not accommodate that kind of, I would say, 6 lines or ISP lines. Although the support tried their best and the company tried their best to accommodate and facilitate that 6 lines, but unfortunately it didn't happen and it failed. So we left with no choice rather than finding or looking for another solution. So we have had invited, different providers, to be honest. And different providers means not only SonicWall, other device. Other providers with different brands, which is known in the market as well. So we have, I would say, 3 other companies or providers has demonstrated their devices, appliances, and the features of their devices. But as you know, we need a device that comes with the high performance and high, I would say, protection, and with the port density to accommodate what we need. We had a long research, and I would say it includes the students, includes the staff, includes the admin. We install the devices here at school to check what we can get or what's the best. And at the end, the SonicWall was one of the best devices that accommodate our school needs in terms of the high performance, in terms with the content filtering, in terms of the ports as well, and with the support. Knowing, just to let you know also, we really use the SonicWall in different entities. So as a school, as a group now, we have around 10 devices, not only schools. So 10 appliances of SonicWall around the group. So it's not only schools. So the SonicWall was selected, and luckily, to be honest, we have selected that device where with the support, I would say with the extreme support we have got, and I can say 24/7, they were with us in order to make the solution work, and they really did. And luckily, it's running now in 2 schools, and we have planning to change a 3rd school shortly once the, the subscription finishes from the previous one. So that really, I would say a short history of looking around the devices that support the school with the cyber safety, with the safeguarding, and students learning, and mainly with the, I would say, the what have happened with the pandemic. And we still, anyway, in UAE, we still we have the pandemic, I would say, precautions and staff. We didn't finish yet, so we're still in the same situation. Although we have a good, small number of COVID, but we're still in the same situation. So aside of what we have what I have mentioned about the what the firewall can do or what the SonicWall can do, we have to be also careful about the other things that the firewall, as maybe as educators or as schools, you need to, I would say, put in your agenda when choosing the firewall. So you need to make sure always the students' learning, the students' safety. That's the most really important. And as you know, I mean, as a firewall with the SonicWall, it has really high protection threats, and that's why we have selected, I would say, and was one of the products that we were happy to use as well. So we need to understand the importance of online safety for the students, and we need to understand the reasons also. I mean, for example, in our school here, this campus, in Abu Dhabi campus, we're using the one-to-one device, and other campuses, they're using one-to-one and bring your own device. In case if you don't know what's the meaning of one-to-one device, it means that the school provide the device to the student, and the student bring their devices in daily basis for different reasons, for mainly for the supervision. Supervision means like the school has the um, full, I would say, control on the device. Like a student cannot really install or uninstall applications without the authority of the school. So with the SonicWall, we were able to, the first thing we have done is to authenticate users. Authenticating users means like we have to, like each user, I mean each student or each staff should log in to the SonicWall in order to get the internet access. All right. I think that can be done on many devices, but not only that. It gives us a report, for example, for a user. I mean, if a user like get into inappropriate websites or like getting into any, I would say, websites that's not uh, uh, recommended by the school or by the head of school or the head of section, and so we'll be able to track that user. So this is the meaning of authentication of users. So that really happened, I mean, with the SonicWall. Aside or beside that, the one-to-one devices. So I mean, when we have the students or each students have one device, means he need to log in only with one account. This really makes sense to the school and to school admin, to everybody in the school. Why? So the student, they have the full, I would say, access to internet. That's correct. But will be monitored. And but will only be able to log into the one account. He or she or a student cannot, even the same as the staff as well. So if we, that like for example, on the device or the firewall, and mainly SonicWall, we can only assign for that internet account to access at like for one user. Okay, we know the Wi-Fi. A lot of people can, I mean, just if you have the username and password, easily put the username and password and log in. And then another login where it will go for the SonicWall. Means if you log in or the student log into that account, will not be able to log in again. So in this way, the students will be fully supervised and fully monitored. So this option we find in SonicWall, which really gives us, I would say, a big change to monitoring the students' behavior, monitoring the students, I would say, surfing the internet, and it makes everybody in the school like we know what's going on. I mean, what the student can open and what cannot open. Besides, of course, the content filtering with the social media and this stuff is really, I mean, schools suffers from how to protect, how to block, how to do this and that. and content filtering of the I would say with the SonicWall, things are much easier. Uh, and uh, we found a lot of things you can say it's built in. Means if you want to filter for a social media or WhatsApp or I would say YouTube or TikTok and so on. So it's a built-in feature which is just a mouse click and finished. And as I know and as we have good experience with the other, I would say firewalls, you need to make a role in order to do or reach that point. However, this device or the SonicWall appliances, it's just a mouse click. So I just want to make sure all of this, I mean, had happened really with us as an experience with the SonicWall. Beside that, we need to understand also the danger of social networking and the cybersecurity of the children. And I would also mention a very good point about the which is extremely worked well with the SonicWall and unfortunately it didn't work well with others. It's something like when I said a while ago, it's 6 lines or 6 ISP. Means we have 6 lines of internet in the device. All right. To make the best performance and distribute this to the network, you need to do something called load balancing, where if let's say I have each line of internet has a 1 GB of download and 200 of upload. If all the download, I would say all the download comes into one line, then the other just doing nothing, then all the load will be on one line, the others not really working. However, with the SonicWall, they have something or a feature called load balancing, where you apply this. That means it will distribute these 6 lines in parallel. If one goes, like for example, a load will go up to this, okay, upload a lot, then it will go for the next line and so on. So this really helped us a lot to make, I would say, to sort out the problem we have had faced with the pandemic. So I would say now, since we have this device in the school, I never had a teacher or a student or an admin staff say, I have slow internet. Never. And beside that, everybody is happy. In the pandemic, we have the blending or the hybrid learning, where the teacher teach from the school, the class, and some students at home. We were really suffering with the previous one, but now all of this, I would say, thanks God, being sorted out. So this is, I would say, all from my point of view about the firewall and particularly about the SonicWall. And if you have any question, please drop your question to the question box, and my colleague will be happy to or myself to answer your question. Thank you so much and have a great day.
Brilliant. Somehow we've managed to duplicate us on stage, but I know you're still in the background, Ziyad. I think everyone has seen Ashley about 300 times.
You're getting me seasick here.
Sorry, we're having a technical issue, yeah? Dan, can you pull Ziyad up? Ziyad, thank you so much. Ziyad, maybe just a question from our side. What has been the biggest thing you have managed to do, or what is the biggest risk you think SonicWall has prevented in your school? What is that one thing that really stands out on the cybersecurity side?
Yeah, we have, I would say, okay, cybersecurity. Okay, can you hear me? Sorry.
We can hear you. Sorry, I don't know why you're not showing. We're just working that one out, but we can definitely hear you. So please continue.
I can see myself. No problem. Anyway, yeah, the first thing about the, I would say that cybersecurity is the protection. The students' protection, where when we say cyber safety, it means, a lot of danger around us. And, the new viruses, right? Mainly the ransomware and such. With the I would say, applying or implementing or having the SonicWall on our campuses as a school and as other entities. And it happens numerous times. The SonicWall was able to detect such viruses and such threats. This is really, I would say, about the get the hat for the SonicWall. I mean,
Brilliant.
as mentioned earlier, maybe in my beginning of the history, story, we have a previous, firewall where it has a safeguarding, good safeguarding, but like giving the full protection of the threats, you know, and we had a ransomware attack us sometimes back. Yeah, yeah. But luckily, we were able to manage with the backup solutions we have, and that's why also one of the reasons we have really tried our best to find a firewall that not only for, I would say, as one side. We were looking for a firewall that combine all the, I would say, the cybersecurity plus the, hyper, protection and such. So this is really happened with us. And the second thing I would say, in technical wise, or maybe you guys not sure if you're aware or others aware, is the load balancing. This is a good, really a big one, and SonicWall. We have tried once, maybe twice, two sort of, when we have the demonstration for the devices. They come to demonstrate. The load balancing was a struggle, a challenge to other firewalls to do it. But with the SonicWall, it's easily just a click, load balance, put the lines, the internet, and we can see smoothly how these, the load balancing feature distribute the internet bandwidth among these
So
line
Ziyad, sorry,
switches. Yeah, thank you so much.
I'm sadly going to have to cut you there, but that was absolutely brilliant. I think one of the things you just mentioned on the attack side, I think we as schools, it's so easy to think it's never going to happen to us, but we've seen it. You've mentioned you've had attacks on your side, ransomware attacks. We know schools locally down the road from us that have had it happen. So I think what we're going to do now is we're going to bring Ashley Lawrence onto stage. So Ashley, where Ziyad is physically in the school, and this is his experience and why he loves the product, what we want to do to make it real now is bring Ashley in on stage, who's going to talk from the company side. What he's also going to do, I think, is give some kind of case studies of some South African schools, because we know most of our audience is South African. So Ashley, if you'd like to come on stage now. There we go. Mr. Lawrence, it's always a pleasure having you on stage with us. And once again, a massive thank you. A lot of this event is possible because of SonicWall. And as Ashley mentioned, this Ashley, not the Ashley on you, this is going to be confusing.
Ashley.
All right. As Ash mentioned, we don't, from an organization side, we want to show the power of EdTech. But we know to do that, we need to be safe. So, Mr. Lawrence, we're going to hand over to you to share a little bit more about SonicWall and some South African examples.
Cool, thank you. How's my audio? Good?
Perfect.
Great, I've got a presentation, which I believe
deck.
Erica's going to share. And we're going to snappity snap. It's kind of a background, so I don't know if you can share the screen 50-50.
There we go.
How that works. And then I will whistle through the presentation. Thank you very much, Ash. Thank you very much, Peter, and thank you very much indeed, Ziyad, for kind of having or telling your SonicWall story from a greater SonicWall point of view, from our Meta team, our extended Meta team, our Middle East, Turkey, and Africa team. So thank you very much, Ziyad, for your time. Okie dokes. So straight into it. My name's Ashley. I'm the local SonicWall lead, if you will, for Sub-Saharan Africa. And I'm joined in the booth with my team, Vainant and Basela. I think Mo is also going to join from a regional sales director this afternoon. So we're all here to kind of help. So if you've got questions, visit the booth, complete the questions, and then you can also win multiple 1,000 Rand Takealot vouchers, which have graciously been sponsored by the marketing team. Great. So Erica, if we can screech ahead, please. Quick intro to SonicWall for all those who don't know who we are. We are in 550,000 organizations. We're represented around 215 countries and territories worldwide. We are a 100% channel-based company, and we are delivering our solutions to you through what's currently 28,000 plus global channel partners. We've deployed more than now 3.5 million firewalls worldwide, and we've done this over 31 years. So we are a quite an established company, one of the oldest cybersecurity vendors in the world. Next slide, please. Okie dokes. So all part of the 2.5 or 3.5, should I say, million devices shipped worldwide. Of the live devices, about 1.3 million live sensors collect data daily, anomalized data, and take that through to our threat center, from where we actually, I'm just going to get some notifications. And we collect this data and we publish a threat report. So anyone who's visited us at the physical events, you will know that we always talk about threat report. We often have a copy of it there, and it basically ranks us, South Africa, and various other countries within Sub-Sahara globally on the kind of threat spectrum. So 3 quarters ago, we were number 3 in the world, which is pretty grim. With about 10.5 million attacks per capita. Then the first report of this year, we were down to 8, so everyone's going great. We've kind of scored 5 more points, 5 more tiers, but the threats have gone up to about 11.5, about 11 million per capita. And now we're off the scale. We're not in the top 10 anymore, so we don't even appear in the threat report in the top 10. However, we are currently now at 11.5 million reports, 11.5 million attacks per capita. So next slide. So if we have a look at what that means to us as South Africans, you can have a look here. So thanks to our friends at TransUnion, and this is an attack from earlier this year in March. Anyone who has had a credit report, bought a car, had a cell phone, etc., your information is in the dark web. You're part of that 11.5 million. Next slide. Again, Dischem, anyone who's fulfilled a prescription at Dischem, again, this was in May this year. They're saying over 3.6 million records exposed. Anyone who's got a prescription filled, your information's in the dark web. Next slide. Again, I hear everyone saying, what's that got to do with schools? Here you go, this report 5 days ago. 5 days ago, 10 million users including teachers, have been exposed with an app called Seesaw. Can I just read it? Yeah, Seesaw. So, and this, basically the threat actors got into the app and managed to publish explicit content, which was rather scary. And again, this is something that obviously is 100% school targeted. Next slide, please. Okie dokes. So it's that time of year for the schools, hence the Schoolscape event. This is the schedule that we have here in August, and now obviously in September it's time to put your budgets together. So I'm going to take you through some of the components around how to select your cyber security vendors for your schools and compare these with some that you may have existing. Next slide, please. Okay, usual conversations. Don't take our word for it. Obviously, we've had Ziyad tell his story. And also here we have on screen third-party validation. So ICSA Labs, I'm going to go through some of that. Frost & Sullivan talk about strategies and leaderships. And obviously the Tolly report is a head-to-head vendor comparison. So again, that is someone who's done the heavy lifting for you. So when you want to compare apples for apples, it talks about throughputs and the components that you need to consider as a school that are pertinent to you as a school when comparing vendors. Next slide, please. Great. So as my kids finish school on Friday, they're in a 4-term school at high school, and it's report time. So we need to, obviously, as parents and educators, we want obviously the highest reports. We want the highest grades. A+ would be great. Not on my kids. Well, we got 2 A's for art, I have to say. My daughter did get some good grades. Mustn't berate the children. They're doing very well. So let's have a look at some of the reports and the scores that SonicWall has attained from some of our third-party vendors, assessors. So, Advanced Threat Defense Test Report, ICSA Labs. ICSA Labs is an independent tester. So they are part of the Verizon group. It's elective to be part of these tests. So you put your products forward, or your product, your solution. In this case, it was our Capture ATP, which is the brains of our technology, and it's in all of our products. So firewalls, access points, secure remote access, cloud-based desktop, content field, everything. All of that has our Capture ATP in it. And it's been independently tested, and the scores are out. And we have just completed 6 consecutive perfect scores, 100% perfect scores. Next slide, please. And there it is, 100% detection of unknown threats. So when it comes to a school report, yes, we're very happy with our kids when they get 80+%, or even the kids that are struggling that manage to pass. But when it comes to cybersecurity, we need 100% detection. 100% detection of unknown threats, because it's the ones that are the 0 days that are getting through. If you have 99% or 99.6%, as some of the competitors have, over tens of thousands of millions of sessions that come in per day, per week, per term, per year, that's tens of thousands of millions of sessions or that could be malicious that are coming into the school. So you do need to get 100% detection. And here we have 6 consecutive perfect threat detection scores, 6 consecutive. This is the first time ever in the history of ICSA that any cybersecurity vendor has managed to have or complete this score. And again, if you're comparing vendors, if you currently have an incumbent firewall vendor or some cybersecurity endpoint vendor and you want to compare them, ask them for the ICSA certifications. Ask them to see what their scorecards are and ask them to take you through it. Next slide, please. So this is a bit of a build out slide you can click through here. So 195 days of testing. This is not a pinprick blood test. This is proper testing that's done day in, day out. Next slide, please. So here we have 7,779 total test runs. This is, as I say, it's not a pinprick test. This is proper testing of our technology, and the same with all the other vendors. So this is why it's really important to use this as a data source. Next slide, please. And 100% threat detection. Fantastic. Hat off to SonicWall. Thank you very much. Next slide, please. So one of the other things that we like to talk about, again, is the Tully report. So how do we compare products for products? So here in this particular report, this is one of our Gen 7 appliances versus a FortiGate firewall. So to convert this into layman terms, I mean, some of the people that we meet at the event and at the Schoolscape events are not super technical, but they just kind of want to get a better understanding of this. So if you can skip to the next slide,
sorry
please.
to talk over you. Just to give you a heads up, you're into your last minute and a half.
Okay, 100%. This is quick. It's all pictures. Okay, understanding the competition. So stateful inspection is there's traditional security, old-fashioned security, luggage tag, source and destination, and obviously what we're promoting is deep packet inspection and real-time memory inspection, X-ray. Next slide, please. And this is a build-out slide. So what you guys want is when you buy threat prevention, is you want to use all the blades on your Swiss Army penknife. Next slide, please. And on the SonicWall, it says here, so what you need to look for is what's called a threat prevention throughput, and it's listed here. And in the Tully report, the next slide, please, we have, and you can click twice, thank you, is we have the firewall that was compared with it. So they're talking about their threat prevention throughput is only 1 gig. So Swiss Army penknife becomes rather redundant, unfortunately. Next slide, just to wrap up. So the bottom line, how do we compare against, in this particular case, study? 2/3 of, so SonicWall was less than 2/3 of the price of the competitive firewall. And we were 3 times the throughput, the threat protection throughput, and obviously dramatically lower cost of ownership with the price per protected megabit of data. I mean, $3,000 versus $16,000. As I said, don't take our word for it. Next slide. We have some new case studies that have just come out. Thank you very much. We have Zeta on the left there, and Pridwin Prep on the right. We are currently working on some new case studies which will be out by the end of the year, so please watch this space. We have all of these case studies, and educators and or IT people within these organizations are available to have conversations with you, to talk to them directly and to take you through that, take you through their solutions. So please feel free to reach out.
Awesome. Thank you, Ashley. As always, it's so great to have you and the full force backing of SonicWall for our events and for our schools in South Africa. So that it doesn't mean little, it means much. And we know that schools are safer to have any kind of SonicWall. And Ashley always says something great, is just start somewhere, do a threat assessment and get the first piece of hardware protection, the first layer in place. So yeah, that's what I've learned. Just start somewhere with cybersecurity. And we want to give away a quick prize because we love our 1,000 Rand gift vouchers. And so our first prize actually goes to Eileen Steffen. So you had a great comment. Thank you, Eileen. She is the IT manager at Pinehurst Primary School. And so good to have you on today. And congratulations on that 1,000 Rand Tech Life voucher. You will be getting it in the post, shall we say?
Yes, we will email it to you. Don't know if we want to post anything. It might not cyber safe, but yeah. And I've been enjoying the banter about being cleverer than a 5th grader. Smarter. Yeah, maybe I'm not cleverer. But Ashley, thank you so much. There is a poll. So if we want to make this really practical, if you would like Ashley and his team to contact you from SonicWall, maybe to reach out to do a threat report for you, just analyze what's going on, to see if they can help you with that first bit of implementation in, please then fill in the poll. The poll allows us to share your contact details, and to make it a bit more fun, if you enter that poll and you can either say, yes, share my details, or if you actually find and you don't want to, click no. Either way, if you do that, you will stand a chance to win another 1,000 Rand Take a Lot voucher, because SonicWall likes giving away Take a Lot vouchers, and we really like that. So Ashley, thank you so much. We appreciate your sponsorship, your support, and how you are keeping our schools safe. All right, next up, and we're going to have to speedily move ahead. What we wanted to do is show you something quite practical and a mix of different tech. So Kevin, he is the IT manager at Farrarmere, and we asked him to just give us something quite practical and quite different. So he had a Tech Olympiad that he was doing with the education department, and he's just going to share how he pulled different tech together. And I think what really inspires me with his session is it doesn't matter what you have, you can actually do amazing things by pulling different things together. So he was a little bit nervous to come live on stage. So he sent us a video. So it's a quick 10-minute video, and it's actually quite inspiring with what he pulled off. So this is Kevin Meredith from Farrarmere. And
Kevin Steenkamp.
Sorry, why am I saying Meredith?
We know Kevin Meredith.
Oh, he's from from Atom Gate. Golly. Mumbling our words. So Kev, over to you.
Hi, my name is Kevin Steenkamp. I'm from Farrarmere Primary School. I am doing a very quick little video for you, for Pete and the gang over at Schoolscape. I hope it's something that you can look at, and maybe there's 1 or 2 things that you can use in your workflows. All right, so there you'll see a picture of me. I'm in the corner there. That's what I look like. I think you'll all agree I'm a stunning individual. Right, so what are we talking about? We're talking about the Technology Olympiad that the Department of Education runs. So the Department of Education needed a venue, they needed an area, they needed to be able to do this Olympiad not on paper. Thank goodness, okay, because we're just murdering the forest using paper. We have technology in the schools, so just use it. Now, it's important to know that I'm impartial. I don't favor an ecosystem. I don't favor Google, Microsoft, Apple, or whatever. I'm in favor of whatever you've spent money on. Please do the research on it, number one. And number two, make sure it's going to last in the school. It works for your workflow. And then ensure that your return on investment is good. Use the hardware, use the devices and the workflows that you have in the school. All right, this particular school uses Chromebooks. They are a Google school. So the Chromebooks they use are very basic Chromebooks. I will try and show you this in this tiny little webcam. Let's see if we can get this right. If you can't see in the webcam, there's a picture there in front, but have a look here. Let's move this back here and see if we can get something here. So you'll see they are little Acer Chromebooks. Again, regardless of what device you use, it shouldn't make too much of a difference. They are quite hardy. Okay, they fold relatively flat. Okay, so you can see we've had a couple of kids drop these, a couple of them spill cold drink on them, and we haven't had any issues with these over the past, I'd say, 4 years, perhaps. All right, and they do have some other newer devices. So if you have a look at this one, just had to mute my speaker there because it was really loud. But you'll see this one over here. So this device, again, I'm going to try to show you in the webcam. If you can't see it, just look on the screen there. It is a touch screen, this one. This one folds flat. So it kind of becomes like a tablet. So you'll see it becomes like a tablet mode again. These are great. They've got a little stylus in them, which is fantastic for our extra English classes and for art. We don't have many of them, but we have enough. And they are great. It is nice to have a tool where the children can actually write on the device, which is actually great. Okay, so those are the ones that are a little bit newer. Great devices, really nice. Highly recommend them. Again, Asus sells some great ones. Acer, there's a stack of them. Microsoft, everybody has got something nowadays. Just look for them, and you won't battle to find any of them. Okay, now obviously we need somewhere to charge these. This particular bank of devices we charge in a charging trolley. A lot of people don't like charging trolleys. They prefer to use other means. That's fine. For us, the charging trolley works well. Then on every single device, you will see, see if I can get this in the webcam. Webcam, there we go. You will see is a QR code, which we generate automatically, which is done through an online generator. It's a free QR code generator. And the only reason for that is obviously for stock. So we use it for stock. So where the heck is this device sitting? Who has this device? Well, simply all we need to do is just scan it. So you can see in the video here on the left-hand side, we just use our camera app or a QR scanner app. And then let's just go and log in here. Now, normally, if you were logged in through the browser, you wouldn't have to do this. All we use is a Google form and a sheet. You could use a Microsoft form and Excel to do exactly the same thing. It's relatively simple. And then all that happens is once this opens, we have the serial number of the item. We just type in the person's name. And then at the end of the term or end of the semester or whatever, I can just log into or just open up that sheet and see, okay, this person has still got this device. I need to go and hunt it down. Where is it? Send my technician to go and grab it from them before they walk off with it in the holidays. Okay. So we've got our devices, we've got our Wi-Fi, we've got our charging trolley where we're going to charge these things. We've got a system to, an asset register. Where are these things located? Now the Department of Education needs something for the users, because these users are coming from different areas. So they're a primary school. Many of them may not have email addresses. Many of them will not know the password for the email addresses. All right, so what do? Is we create users in our domain. Now, just temporary users so that the children can actually use the accounts. And it's very easy, as we know, to just take a CSV file and import all those users into your admin panel. Your admin panel could be Google, could be Microsoft, whatever. But once you've got those users, to just go and pop them in a group, because then it's much easier to control emails going out, controlling, sending links out, that type of thing. Now, if you have Chrome devices, in this case we did, you can use the assessments for Chrome devices. So the exam mode, which locks the book down a little bit. I'm not going to go over how we do that. welcome to go check it out. It's easy to do. There's a lot of partners that deal with Schoolscape that will be able to help you with that. And then we had all our devices, 54 in this classroom, all connected to a single Unify Pro unit. The Wi-Fi in this particular area of the building is not fantastic. There's a lot of devices in a very small area, but I can tell you that we were having between 2 to 6 megabytes on each and every single Chromebook, which is more than sufficient because the newer devices that you get nowadays, so your, be it Microsoft, be it Chrome OS, Apple, whatever, the newer operating systems are really designed to work well and be efficient over lower bandwidth. So it's great. And if you use something like a Form really doesn't need a lot of bandwidth, and it worked well. We had no issues whatsoever. Okay, so the next step over here is, because we've chucked all our users in a group, what we can do to address the computer competency, so to make sure that we can help the learners that maybe need a little bit more support, we can just email a dummy link. So we can email that dummy form out. Those children receive it. They open up the email on the device. They open up the form, and then a technician or myself can walk around and help those children that are struggling. The other children can do a little bit of practice, and the ones that are battling, maybe they've never used a trackpad before, maybe they've never used a computer before. We can give them a good couple of minutes where they can get used to how they move with the mouse, where they type, and how they go back, how they go forward, just some basic computer literacy for those that need it. And then obviously, when it's time, when we then send out the official assessment link, they know how to access the link, they know how to get to the email, they know how to use the trackpad, how to go down, backwards and forwards. And then once that's done, the facilitator is the person in yellow here. You can't see her face. We try to hide some of the faces. But that person can then release the results immediately. So before those children walk out, they know who has progressed to the next stage. So it's really, really simple. It's fast to do. It's easy to do. And then a lot of you will also know this, but for those of you that don't know this, maybe just a word of caution. Don't use the same account on all of the Chromebooks or all of your devices, because if you are using something like Google Forms auto-saves quite often. And if you don't have control over the form, if somebody else has allowed that, then that auto-save feature will be seen on another Chromebook if they're logged in as the same user. So it's good practice to have a different user for every Chromebook, at least in this particular case. And then to lock it down in exam mode, shuffle the questions. But again, we didn't have access to the form. We don't control the form. We just needed to ensure that the children had access to the link and were able to do it. And again, this is a simple thing. And I think many of you have done things far more complicated, far more fun, and far more interactive. But I just wanted to show you that even for something like a public school working with the Department of Education, it's not impossible to use tech anywhere. You can use it. If you've got some version of tech, there are things that you can put in place to make it work. All right, so do your homework. Make sure that you are using the hardware you've got. Check your 3 to 5 year plan. Where are you going with this? What do you want to use the hardware for? How do you want to introduce it? Is it beneficial to the children? So are the children getting a benefit out of this? Can the teachers use it? And the answer to all of those is yes, they should be able to use this stuff. All right, we are in 2022. There's really no excuse to not be using tech in one way or another. And obviously, if you need suppliers, then speak to Pete and the guys. I can tell you from personal experience that the suppliers at Schoolscape are some of the best in the business. You can't go wrong with them. Again, I'm impartial. Whatever robot system you want to use, whatever device you want to use, whatever ecosystem you want to use, I think if you've got a plan going ahead, it's very difficult to pick one or the other because they all do so well that you can really use them in so many different ways. Okay, so Pete, I hope that was okay. Ashley, I hope you guys were happy with that. Please excuse the very short video. I hope it wasn't too basic. I didn't want to bore you with too many technical details for something a little bit more hectic. So going forward, good luck, guys. Good luck to all the schools. And yeah, bless you. Have fun with your tech. And remember, there's no excuse. If you're not sure, ask someone, reach out, ask a member of the team, ask myself, ask a supplier, ask anybody, and I'm sure we'll be able to assist with whatever you need assistance with. Okay, that's me. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Kev.
Didn't you love that? Like super practical. This is why
Haven't
we
got me one of these.
Yeah, we've also got one of these.
I
that
can
will-
also demo it.
Can you drop it?
No.
I think the reason why we wanted Kev is just because there are so many real practical things that he does on a day-to-day basis. And I just saw the comments coming in on the right that were brilliant. So I'm going to ask a favor. If we could give Kev some love. If you love this session, don't you just want to in the chat bar say love or thanks, Kev, or let's just send him some appreciation. He's checking in and out, but yeah, we just really love what he does and wanted to share those practical tips and tools with you. But we now have our next speaker in from the
UK. So from Surrey in the UK, in fact.
We're going to bring them on stage now.
From Danesfield School. So we're really excited to have Sarah and Ben join us on stage. So welcome, Sarah. Oh, there we go. There's Sarah. Hi, Sarah. Welcome all the way from the UK.
Thank you.
Good to have you here with us today. Welcome to Schoolscape Stage, and you're really excited to hear. Sarah is the head teacher, and she's also the tech demonstrator. I love it that the head teacher of the school, which is I think equated to our headmaster or headmistress, has really dived in with the technological advancements in the school. So that's exciting, got to lead the way. And yeah, so today, really what Sarah and Ben are going to show us is Microsoft Education, but the new edition, so the school edition, in practice, so in the practical implementation in their school. So we presented quite a lot of this at our physical events, but this is a school that's actually walked the walk and has done it. So we're really excited to hear what you got for us. And yeah, we're going to be also giving some sneaky A surprises away at the end of it. So yeah, stay tuned.
Over to you, Sarah.
Thank you. So as was just said, I'm the head at Danesfield School, and we are a primary school. So we have children from the ages of 4 up to 11, and we just have over 400 children. And over the last 5 years, we've been on a technology journey, and we've seen the impact that technology can have in raising standards across all areas of the curriculum, and really thinking about how we can engage the children in their learning. And we became a Microsoft Training Academy and Showcase school, where we've supported other schools with their technology journey. But I thought before I began, I would show you a short video of what life is like at Danesfield School. that gives you a little snapshot of what everyday life is like at school. So to talk about our journey, at the start of our journey, we were at in the bottom 10% for English and maths as a school. And we had staff who were not really keen on bringing technology into the classroom. And I think the main barrier was their own skill and their own belief of kind of, how do I teach with technology? So at the start of this journey, we created a vision and ensured that everybody understood that vision and that strategy of what we were going to try and achieve. And alongside that vision, we also had a really clear plan. So every week, the staff came together and we spent about an hour working together, developing our skills, looking at the professional development opportunities. And that was the time that we started to use the Microsoft Educator Centre. And staff would work together to earn badges. And what we decided as a school is, rather than asking every teacher to go and learn about every area, we created experts. And what that enabled us to do is it enabled us to use some of the tools within our classes and actually see what were the benefits and potentially what were the drawbacks. So for example, we would have teachers who would use Sway, and they would look at all the different ways that they could use Sway within their classes. And then they would report back to the other teachers. And this really helped to manage workload, because we weren't asking everybody to do everything all at the same time. And what we started to see is that because we created this journey and we were supporting the teachers along the way, and we were sharing our successes and our failures, and really thinking about how we could build on that journey, staff started to build confidence. And what also happened at the same time is that we could start to see the impact of what was happening within the classroom, and children were more engaged and excited by their lessons. And the whole way through, we have always kind of had a clear step-by-step plan of what we wanted to achieve. And what you've got to think, if you're introducing a geography lesson and you're incorporating Minecraft into that lesson, you're then, the level of engagement of all the children kind of really raises. And as a result, in our latest, so in England, in the UK, we had our SATs results in 2022, our most recent SATs. And what it showed us as a school is our results were the best that we've ever had. Now, I know we've had lockdown throughout that, and we've kind of kept the children learning throughout the whole period. But I think what it clearly showed us is the level of engagement that the children have. So it placed us, our last results placed us in the top 0.5%. So you can see the impact that that has had on everyday teaching. We also talked about that clear vision, and I think that's so important for any school starting on that journey. You need to have that clear vision and that strategy of how you're going to achieve that, because if you don't have that and you don't bring everybody on the journey, that is going to act as one of your main barriers. And everybody, from our teaching assistants, from our parents to our children, everybody was really clear of what we were trying to achieve. The other thing that's really important as a leader of a school is to make sure that the infrastructure is right. Now, our funding, we're also one of the kind of lowest funded schools, so we have a real barrier. We couldn't just go out and buy a whole new suite of devices. So we've had to build it up over time. And what we found with the Acer TravelMate devices is actually it enables you to do that bit by bit, but it also gives you a cost-effective, robust device, which is really good for a primary school setting. And how we've done that is each year we've kept adding to the number of devices that we've had. And really importantly, everything in the background has always worked effectively. So our Wi-Fi and our network, they are the things that teachers find are really, really important, because if you're delivering a lesson and those areas let you down, that's when you're going to lose the energy from the teachers, and that's when things won't go to plan. So I think those kind of key things are so important, and also making sure that you are setting that strategy, but then following it through. We always used to have today's takeaways. So we would ask, whenever we led the training, we would say to teachers, we want you to go away and we want you to teach something differently tomorrow as a result of something that you've learned today, setting that challenge, setting that barrier, so that then actually people rise to it. And as a result, you can see the impact in the classroom. I'm now going to hand you over to Ben, who is going to talk about more about the day-to-day classroom.
Thanks, Sarah. So as Sarah was saying the implementation section would be next. So you've got your vision, you've got your infrastructure in place, and now it's about the implementation. And one of the key things that we found when supporting schools over the years is creating a curriculum that works for you. And we heard a bit of that in some of the previous presentations, thinking about the tools and the software that you're currently using, and how can you make the most of those in the classroom and in your school without having to spend lots of money, without having to invest in subscription packages. So how can you utilize those? And one of the main things that we do is using Microsoft 365. So we're now using Windows 11 SE in the classroom, which is a brilliant tool for the children to use, very intuitive and very simple to make that change from Windows 10 up to Windows 11. And we've got children from as young as 4 years old using that on their Acer devices. And the thing with Microsoft 365 in a primary school is the applications aren't necessarily designed for young children to use. But what we've had to do is get our teachers to think creatively and come up with exciting, engaging, creative ideas of how they can take the lessons that they would normally teach in the classroom and use these applications as tools to make those lessons more engaging, using Minecraft, using Sway, using things like Microsoft Forms, which you might think not really something for a primary school environment, but we would create reading comprehension questionnaires for children to complete. And the children love learning using these applications. And what we're doing then is preparing the children with future ready skills, giving them the skills they're going to need in a secondary school environment. And then also something like Microsoft 365 is something they're going to use in the workplace in the future. And they'll be learning the main computing skills along with the application understanding as well in the, during their normal lessons. So for example, we might do a science lesson and we'll use Paint 3D. Instead of them drawing and labeling something or cutting something out, sticking it in their books in the classroom, we would use Paint 3D to have an image and they would label it using Paint 3D. And at a young age, it enables them to learn the mouse skills and things like using a trackpad and things that you might think you might need to put a specific lesson in place to learn those skills, but by putting it alongside a real world situation, the children are learning those skills whilst covering the computing curriculum and other areas of their learning. So we've created a skills progression document, and there's an example of it on the screen here. And we've looked at the applications in place through Microsoft 365, and we've seen how those applications can be progressed from reception age, so from 4 years old, throughout the children's school lives, and that's how we show progression within our computing curriculum. And you can see on there we have our national curriculum in the UK, so we make sure that whilst we're using these as examples of applications to use for computing, and they can be used in other areas of the curriculum, whether that's like geography lessons, maths lessons, whether it's supporting their writing, we're still hitting all the computing areas of the national curriculum at the same time. So at the moment, technology at Danesfield, technology is embedded across the curriculum. So we no longer have computing as a standalone subject. For a number of years now, it has been something, as I said before, that is a tool to enhance other areas of the children's learning. So the children never have computing on their timetables. Instead, staff, through the training they've done over the years, make good decisions about the impact that the technology and the applications can have on the lessons that they're planning. So we're creating inspiring hooks for writing. Computing doesn't have to just be a technology area. We use it for the children to use things like Flipgrid, where they record the things they're going to say before they write them down in their books. Again, creating lots of engagement and giving children that maybe struggle and find it more challenging to get pen to paper and get writing in their books, giving them an opportunity to tell their stories and get their ideas in place using a digital device. There's real world situations, again, very important. We're preparing the children for future in their secondary schools and in the workplace. And this has also involved online learning. We're now in a place where during lockdown, we were able to teach full online lessons from the first day of lockdown at Danesfield using Microsoft Teams. And that has continued and allowed us as a school to put ourselves in a position where there is really no reason why the children can't learn if they can't come to school. So we'll never have a snow day again at Danesfield. If there's a snow day, the children will be straight online, and our teachers are trained, the children are trained on how to use Microsoft Teams, and they will receive a full day's learning from their homes. And then finally, from me, the latest update for technology at Danesfield is a digital media suite. So as a school, we always try and push ourselves to the next level, thinking about what's next, not standing still with tech, because if you stand still, you're going to fall behind. And our next big idea with technology, we're building a digital media suite where we'll be giving children the opportunity to learn how to do podcasting. We're going to have a green screen film studio, and we're going to allow the children to use industry standard software like Adobe Premiere Pro to do editing of video. Also doing photography with digital SLR cameras, and again doing editing in that way. So we're always looking for the next thing that to move forward as a school. I'm going to pass you back to Sarah.
Thanks, Ben. I guess in conclusion, the main thing that you really need to think about is that you want to provide inspiring opportunities. You want to inspire your teachers as much as your children. And I think to enable you to do that, something like using the Office 365 badges, learning through the MEC, it actually enables teachers to feel rewarded, and they've got a clear progression journey for themselves. It also really kind of helps you to be an inspiring school for everybody and actually demonstrate what can be achieved. We have not only gone to the top 0.5%, but we've also closed the gaps with, the general gender gaps that we have with girls in maths and boys in writing and girls in STEM subjects. What we find now actually is there's a whole cohort. The children are achieving their maximum potential, and that's what we want for every single person. And as Ben said, that's really about, and it's really thinking because of how we think within the classroom. So how we ensure that those children's English lessons are really engaging and exciting, and capturing them maybe through using podcasts, maybe through using reporting on Teams and things like that, and editing each other's work. And there are so many opportunities to be creative with their learning. Thank you very much. I hope that helps. If you follow us on Twitter, there are lots of updates where you will see how we use technology constantly to engage our learners on a daily basis. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks. Thank you so much, Sarah. It's so great to have you and Ben here with us, and really actually being inspired by your story. Thank you for being like raw and transparent with us from where you're at to where you're at now. I think one quick question, with Microsoft in mind and all the implementations that you've made, what's next for the school?
I think it's just about challenging the secondary schools to ensure, because obviously our children leave us at 11, but also making sure that as we get new staff, we're constantly training up, that we don't lose that momentum with kind of what we want to achieve. As Ben said, we've just created the digital suite, so we will be kind of ensuring that teachers have some quality time there, and actually never stopping, always still having those weekly staff meetings where we're still using the MEC, still learning, earning the badges. I'm quite competitive. I like to ensure that I'm also earning the badges and staying on top of things, because as Ben said, technology never stops, and to enable us to keep doing this year on year, we have to keep challenging ourselves, and we have to show that we are genuinely within a learning environment. And I think by ensuring that the professional development support is there constantly for the teachers, that will really kind of enable us to challenge ourselves to always think differently, and to also be preparing the children for the kind of world of work that they're going to go into.
I love that. I read a comment yesterday, or a quote yesterday, that someone said we need to transition the next generation from know-it-alls to learn-it-alls. And I thought that was so brilliant. It really goes with the ethos of what you're saying here, that yeah, it's an educational environment for all, even the educators and the heads of the school. So thank you for your time, Sarah. It is great to have you.
Thank you for inspiring us. I was looking through the comments, and guys were like, oh, great point, this and that. So
awesome. Okay, so then we are going to move over to our next speaker.
Sorry, excuse that, son.
Pete's really on the ball today. Glenn is from ASA, and he's also not new to our stage. So welcome, Glenn. It's so good to have you here today. And Glenn is really the kind of driving force behind Microsoft and schools using Microsoft to their full potential, even though he's from ASA. So we really love Glenn's perspective on education, and he's a big driving force of moving education forward in our country. So Glenn, welcome. You're here to wrap up some closing thoughts from a South African perspective.
Yeah, listen, I was so pleased. Thanks, Ben and Sarah. We wanted to get the guys from Danesfield online as a world's, as a bit of a best case scenario in terms of what the guys are doing internationally, and they really brought to the fore. So we're not going to talk about speeds, we're not going to talk about feeds, and we're not going to talk about devices today. I just really want to sort of wrap up and say, Schoolscape over the last year and a half that we've been involved in talking to the educators, the IT managers, the principals of the schools, what it's pointed out to us is that there's so many schools out there that are saying that's great, but where do we start? Where do we start this road? Do we go this road? Some guys have had a couple of false starts. They've moved in a direction which is cost a heck of a lot of money. Others are contemplating what the post-COVID education solution works by. And what we're wanting to do as ASA, and this is sort of our focus as our education strategy, is to move the devices to the side of the classroom and focus on the learning in the classroom. The devices will come, whether it's our brand or somebody else's. It doesn't matter what device it is if you haven't got the correct solution in place, you don't have the correct infrastructure in terms of the decisions that you've made in place, it doesn't matter what device you choose, you're going to find yourselves on the back foot. And what we're wanting to do as ASA is really just keep putting out the message out there to everybody is if you're looking for assistance in building that digital transformation strategy, if you're looking at coming up with a framework and working with that, please reach out to us at ASA. Our team is there to assist you, to support you. If you then happen to decide to go with the ASA devices in the future, that's great. But that's not our primary focus right now. We really have a passion for transforming education, particularly in the K-12 sector, and working with the schools throughout this. I want to end by saying thank you very much to, obviously, to Ben and Sarah for the work that they've done and for taking the time to talk from this perspective of what they're doing. Also, a massive shout out to Microsoft, who has made this happen. They've spent a lot of money over the last 18 months really to just bring their solution to the fore. And then most important, as I always say in whatever session we sit in, guys, thanks very much to the educators. You guys are the ones who are traveling the journey, and I don't want to take up any more of your time, but good luck. And as you're going to this last, and you prepare for term 4 now with all the exams and everything, remember that you really only have 2 sessions per year to get this right. One where you implement, and one when you assess what you're going to implement the next year. So Ash, Pete, thanks very much. I know you guys are running late, so I'm not going to waffle on any further. Please, I just want to put it out there. Shout out to everybody. If you want to contact me, I am on the community. Alternatively, you can get hold of me via Ash and Greg. They'll be able to give you my Ash and Peter. They'll be able to give you my information. But again, I am on the community. My email address is there. Reach out to us and we'll be more than happy to make contact with you and help you on your journey.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Glenn. It's always great to have you with us. And yeah, like Glenn said, if you do want to get in contact with him about anything Microsoft, or I mean, we had Kevin show the devices as well, but anything device orientated ASA wise, those cool Chromebooks that flip back, these ones, they're also ASUS that happen to be. But yeah, the other way to do it is there's a poll that's gone live now from our side. And if you click connect with ASA Microsoft through that poll, then we can give your details actually over to Glenn, who will then be able to be in contact with you by email. So that's awesome. We're going to give away a quick prize from ASA. So ASA, thank you for the prizes.
You'll see we love giving away prizes.
Absolutely.
Basically, every company that gets involved or wherever possible, we always ask them to get prizes just because it makes it a bit more fun.
Awesome. So there's a great gift pack from ASA, and that's going to Jacqueline Farrarmere from Windsor Primary. So she said, we need school governing bodies and parents on board every step of the way. I also love the idea of incremental changes with feedback. And I think that's a great way to look at this journey that we're on in schools, of getting technology into schools, getting our teachers to use the technology, getting the learners to use the technology, small incremental bite-sized challenges for the school, one step forward at a time. So thank you, Jacqueline, and thank you, Glenn. Always good to have you guys on. And again, Ben and Sarah, such a cool journey to have shared that moment with you and have you walk us through it. So we are then saying bye to Ace for now.
Thank you.
Awesome.
All right, Glenn, we appreciate that. We're going to drop you off now and invite the EduBoard team on stage. We are into the final 15 minutes. And what we thought would be really cool at the end is to show you 3 EdTech tools that we thought would blow your mind.
Yeah.
Literally, when I was looking at some of the stuff, I was like, oh my gosh, we've got to showcase this. So the EduBoard team is one that has been in country for years and years and years, doing really innovative stuff in the tech space. And they have 3 solutions that, literally just stumped me. Like the one is you can have Hollywood actors in your class. That one for me was like, what? Not real on video. They'll demo it now before I butcher it.
He's badgering this.
Yeah. So, but Derek and team, Bianca, we see you guys there. Before I butcher it anymore, I'm really excited to see these 3 offerings. Over to you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Pete and Ashley. I see, Pete, you've been paying attention to our solutions. I think you can give a presentation next time. But thanks so much for the intro. My name is Derek Underwood, Managing Director of EduBoard, and thanks for joining our session today. We are really excited to showcase a couple of these solutions that Pete has mentioned. And together with my team, you can see them on the other camera there, is Rudolph Eberson and Bianca Morrison. And we're going to go through 3 solutions today with you very quickly. Basically brand new launched solutions in South Africa just recently. So some of the guys see them for the first time. And we've basically gone around the world and sourced these and brought them to South Africa. And I believe we're going to add value to 3 things here. Number 1 is save you time in creating lessons and presenting lessons to your kids. Number 2 is that we feel your kids are going to be super engaged with some of these solutions. They are incredibly exciting, a lot of fun, really easy to use. And number 3 is we've put in a South African element to this, and certainly a South African price point to the whole process. So these are all award-winning solutions from around the world that we bring into South Africa very newly to be introduced to you this morning. So what we've got on the right hand side of the one screen, you can see there's Lexplore, which is a eye-tracking AI-based reading assessment tool. This allows you to assess a child's reading in less than 5 minutes. You'll be able to get an accurate report of exactly what their reading issues may be. So Bianca will go into those in more detail in a moment. Then number 2 is Academy Plus, which is, as Pete said, is basically bringing Hollywood into the classroom legally. And this will bring hundreds and hundreds of top movies from Pixar, Disney Studios, Sony Studios, and so on into the classroom and allow you to present those in lesson form, create lessons on the fly, and share those with your students. So a really cool program for you. And then lastly, Marty, the humanoid robot. A super exciting, engaging, highly programmable, sophisticated robot that kids just love to play with and program. So with that in mind, I'm going to hand over to the team of Bianca and Rudolph, and hope you guys enjoy the show, and we'll catch you hopefully at the end of this session. Thanks very much, guys. Enjoy it.
Thank you so much for that warm introduction, Derek. Okay, so as Derek said, the first product that we are going to demonstrate to you is our Lexplore reading assessment tool. Now, in terms of hardware, what you would need to do your reading assessments is simply have a laptop, which is then connected to an external monitor via HDMI or VGA, and then we magnetically attach your eye tracking camera to the base of your monitor. Now, I'm quickly going to share my screen just to ensure that everyone can see everything clearly. Assessment. we have a look at what we need to do, the first thing that we're going to do is we need to ensure that our student is in the correct positioning. Now, there is various different ways and assistance when getting our student in the correct position. Rudolph is perfectly in his positioning now. And next up, we are going to do the calibration. So Rudolph, you're going to see a circle on the center of your screen. I want you to follow the circle without moving your head. Okay, now if we look at the screen, there is two little dots, one green one and one red one. That indicates your student's left and right eye. Now this we need to do for each student just to ensure the eye tracker picks up both of their eyes. Now this assessment does not necessarily need to be done by a teacher. This could be done by your support staff, like for instance, a teaching assistant, which will give the teacher a lot more time, but as a teacher you would still have access to all of the results, which we'll see in just a moment. Next up, there is a few letters on your screen, Rudolph. If you could just give me their names.
ACKNST.
Now there's going to be a lot more letters on the screen. I need you to say them as fast as you can. Are you ready?
I'm ready. ACNSTKSIC, NTKITSNCK, TSKNCIC, SKTINSKNTCA.
Well done, Rudolph. Now, what we just did was part of the RAN assessment, also known as the random automatized naming. So it's just a compilation of random letters that our students need to call out. This does not go towards their final analysis. It's just an easy way for a teacher to determine which letters the student is struggling to identify. Now, if you are doing the assessment, there's no need for you to memorize anything. At the top of the screen, there is a little script which will guide you in terms of what the student needs to do next. And on the right-hand side, there is instructions. Just above the instructions, we have three little dots which show where in the assessment. So there's three parts to each assessment. We've got the RAN, and then there's two passages with a comprehension test afterwards that our students need to do. So let's go into our first session of our passages. So Rudolph, you're going to read out a short story out loud, and there is going to be questions afterwards. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Sam is going to a party. It is on Saturday. Parties are fun. He eats cake. He plays games.
Okay, so here are some questions about what you have just read. What is Sam doing?
He's going to a party.
Which day is the party on?
I think it's Saturday.
And what does Sam do at the party?
Eats cake. He plays games.
Well done. So due to time constraints, we are not going to finish the entire assessment. All we would still need to do is just read the second passage and answer some questions. And what I want to show to you guys quickly is the results. Now, the results can be viewed from a school perspective, but there is different levels that it can be viewed at. So these results would be available to, let's say, for instance, your districts. So a district head would be able to see all of their schools within their district. They would be able to go into those different schools and see all of the different classrooms, and then delve in a little bit deeper on all of the students' individual results. So if we have a look at first eye glance, we can see how many low, below average, etc. students we have within our school, and we can go even further into a student's results specifically. Now, it will give us some analytics, which I'll show you in just a moment. But on the right-hand side, we will also get different reports. So you would be able to see how your student progresses over time. There's also recommendations made based on your students' reading abilities. So this will assist you and guide you in terms of coming up with an intervention plan. But as part of that, there is also a built-in intervention plan with the platform where it will suggest different activities and passages for a student to read to assist in increasing their reading ability. Now, as I said, it's not necessary for a teacher to do the assessment, but a teacher will have access to the entire assessment, and thereby I mean their recordings. So if we look at the top analytics, it will indicate what reading level the student is at. For instance, this is a grade 3 student, but they are reading at a level of 4 grade 5. It will give us their reading comprehension, meaning how many questions they got right. The right-hand side, it will give us more stats on how their reading is, meaning their reading speed. And again, we have access to all of the recordings of the assessments that have been done.
SAKCNT.
Are you ready?
SAK.
So if we have a look, at what is on our screens at the moment, the lines indicate exactly how the student is progressing throughout the passage. And if we look at those bubbles indicate the student's fixation time. So the bigger that bubble gets, the more the child is fixating on that particular letter or that particular word, meaning that those are the ones that we would need to focus on. It will also give us a list of words that the student fixated on the most. Now that is the Lexplore portal in a very quick nutshell. Next up, I want to show you the Academy Plus portal quickly. As Derek said, there is hundreds of Hollywood movies embedded within the platform. Now, these are not just only movies, these are also movie clips. These are from studios such as 20th Century Fox, Marvel, Disney, Pixar, etc., which we can now legally use within our classes. But because we are in the business of making things easier for teachers, there are also hundreds of lessons that teachers can use in class. Now, you can use these lessons as is, or you can edit them to suit your needs. Now, I'm quickly just going to show you one of these lessons that I have created. The lessons are in a slideshow format, and we also have the tablet collaboration capabilities as well. So whatever I am displaying on the screen, my students will see that on their devices as well. If there are any questions, then my students will answer it from their devices as well, which I'll show to you in just a bit. Now, I'm just going to play a little section of a movie.
Actually was really lucky because
Now, if we look at the time frame at the bottom, those little bubbles indicate questions that we have embedded onto the movie, meaning that there's no need for a teacher to pause the movie and then ask the students a question. The movie can just normally play, and once it gets to that, it will pop up as you see in just a few seconds. Once the question is popped up on my teacher's screen, it will pop up on my students' devices as well. So they would now be able to answer all of the questions directly from their devices. Once we are done with our lesson, we would now have access to all of the reports of the lessons that we have done. So we will be able to see all of our students' answers to the specific questions that we have embedded within our lessons. These are available in both Excel as well as PDF formats. Now that is the Academy Plus platform in, again, another nutshell. The third and last product that I want to show to you guys quickly is Marty, the humanoid robot. Now, Marty is an extremely engaging and unique robot. And the reason for that is because of, number one, his flexibility. That is due to the 9 servo motors that are in Marty's eyes, his arms, as well as his legs. And the second thing that makes him very unique is the fact that our students would be able to personalize him to their likes. So with your Marty, you will get different stickers that you can add on to give him some life. Now, there's 3 different ways that we can program our Martys. The first one is for our younger students. So we would be able to code our Marty using the unplugged version, meaning that they don't need to have any screens with them. At the bottom of Marty's foot, there is a color sensor. So depending on what color block we put Marty on, Marty will start to do different things. So for instance, the green is indicating to Marty that he would need to move forward. The red is indicating to Marty that he would need to dance. The second way that we can code Marty is by simply using block-based coding. Now, within the Marty application, you would have access to Marty Junior as well as Marty blocks, and these are based on Scratch Junior as well as Scratch blocks. Now, just to show you quickly what these scripts look like, it's basically just block coding that our students would drag out from one end to another to create their different scripts, which you'll see in just a moment. So what all we need to do is just simply connect your Marty, click on your code that you have created, and Marty will start to do his or her thing. And the last way that we can code Marty is by using Python. So I'm just again going to share my screen just so that you can see what some of the script looks like. This is very basic coding that we have put together for our young Marty over here. But this we could use to make Marty do various different things. There is also different add-ons that we can add to Marty. So for instance, Marty over here has different disco lights on. We could also go ahead and add a breadboard at the top of Marty's head, or you can add in a Raspberry Pi to code Marty. All right, and that is it for our different products today. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Great. Thanks very much, Bianca. And I hope you guys did all enjoy it all. I think, 3 great solutions that we really are excited to launch into the education arena. And if you have any further questions, please direct them through our website at www.eduboard.co.za. And Pete and Ashley, if you want to take it further from there, thanks.
I'm blown away. First of all, that you managed to show 3 incredible products in less than 15 minutes.
Go, Bianca, go.
Yeah, well done, Bianca. I think you played out of your boots. And I think what blows me away is the technology that is available to help empower teachers to be more effective in the classroom. And I think that's something that EduBoard has been doing. Derek, correct me, but I think for the last 30 years, you've been doing this?
Not quite 30 years, but yeah, a long time, Pete, a long time. So yeah, we love what we do, we're passionate, and I've seen some great solutions in the previous sessions, and it's all here to really just, bring technology to those classrooms with passion, knowledge, and make it fun for us all.
Yeah. So we put a poll in. So once again, if you'd like the team, maybe you saw something there that looked interesting, or they mentioned something. If you'd like the team from EduBoard to contact you, please then reach out on the poll. Just say yes. It allows us to share your information with them so that they can contact you. Derek, I think for interest sake of the 3, I just have to ask this: which is your favorite one of those 3 and why? And that will be your last question.
I had a feeling this question might come. It's a tough one, Pete, yeah, because I think with all the expos we've done just recently with you guys on those, that they've all been extremely popular. I think Marty probably, just because of the nature of the fun side of him, the humanoid aspect of the robot, created a huge amount of attention. So I'd say he is certainly one of our favorites, and seems to be some of the teachers and kids' favorites as well. So yeah, we really look forward to getting him to dance in a lot more classrooms around there.
I was loving the comments. It was saying he looks like a Smurf. So he's the
Smurf load of fun. Smarty the Marty robot.
So absolutely brilliant. All right, Derek, Bianca, well done, and Rudolph in the background. Good reading. Rudolph, we might have to check your score to see if you need some help. No, but well done. I think. Thank you. We really appreciate you being on stage. Once again, if you are watching and you're going, I'd like to find out more, please jump onto the poll and check them out. They also have a load of other tools that they can help you with, from interactive screens, other technology, and they really are a leader. And I think they have a heart and a passion for education. So if you want to reach out to Derek and his team, please do that on the poll, or also find them on their exhibits booth.
Yeah.
On that note, Bianca, thank you so much. Derek, thank you so much. We're going to drop you off stage now.
Thanks so much, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Awesome.
Bye. Well done, Bianca. You were great that you managed to pull that off. That must have taken some rehearsal. All right, ladies and gentlemen, just talking about different companies, we have an exhibitor booth section where we have some incredible companies. So we've recently come off the back of our physical events in Cape Town, well, in Stellenbosch and Joburg, and we've asked all of those companies just to set up booths for the simple reason that they have incredible tools and solutions. So please jump onto the exhibitor booth, check them out. To make it a little bit more fun, we are also running a competition. So if you go and visit 10 of them, and I think what you need to do is like
15.
15.
Made it a little bit harder.
Made it a little bit harder. Is if you go onto their booth, you can literally like, say hello, or ask them a question and enter their deals and offer. By deals and offer, it allows you just to share your details with them so that they can contact you. So go find the solutions that might be ideal for your school, and literally from cybersecurity to devices, to coding and robotics, hardware, software, administration, cashless, it's all in there. Some amazing solutions for you to check out. And if you visit 10 of them and do what we mentioned, 15, golly, I'm back into that. If you can do that, you stand a chance to win 120,000 Rand coding. And
can't leave the pause at 1,000 Rand. Coding and robotics.
Implementation, 120,000 Rand. So the team from Resolute Robotics will come on and pretty much get your school up to speed. So it is a phenomenal
prize.
Yeah, so check that out. Tomorrow, we've got lots more in store. So we've got a school from Portugal. Talking.
Amazing.
Coding.
Yes. Maria from Portugal is talking coding, how they've got coding up and running in the Portuguese school. So that's very cool.
And also she has the longest name ever, which I'm going to practice to try to get right. It's literally 6 or 7
different names. We're going to shorten it.
So I'm going to try to get that. We've also got a local South African school, Rustenburg. We've got Vian on stage. We've also got a UK school that's going to be talking about managing data with Wand. So there is a lot. We've also got a demo on Cami. So there's a lot to look forward to. And then lastly, we've also got an afternoon session. So I know some of you might be signed up for the morning sessions and the afternoon sessions. If you are not signed up for those, you can reach out to us if you would like to be on those. And also if you would like to share those with your teachers or your colleagues. I think the big heart with the morning is really to show you tools from a macro level in the school. The afternoon, we're going to dive down and really focus on tools for the teachers to use. So first up, we're going to be showcasing Edpuzzle. A school in Zimbabwe is going to be showing how you can make videos come alive in your class.
Amazing.
And then we've got, we're going to do some AI stuff with Karen Wallstra. So we've got like a whole pile of different stuff this afternoon.
So I think in fact, if we can ask we have a really faithful team sitting in front of us. So if they could pop the registration, if you're not registered for the afternoon session in, if you want to be registered for the afternoon session, please register, but also otherwise you can send that on to the teachers in your school that you might think would really want to be involved in the afternoon session.
Oh, and the cool thing is we're going to be joined on stage by Lorato from St. Stithians. So she's going to help us host this afternoon to really make it practical and real for other teachers.
Yeah.
And
awesome. So if you have missed the beginning of the session or any other sessions that you maybe want to watch but can't due to being in class or being in load shedding or being called out because your Wi-Fi has gone down, so then you can't anyway. These are all recorded and you can just go back into any day of the 2 days that we're running sessions and then you go watch the replay right there in the agenda. So on the side of your screen, you'll see agenda, click on that session and you can go watch it anytime you like.
All right. And because I'm trying to get the last word in.
Bye.
No, not yet. just a reminder, there are some polls there if you'd like any of the teams to connect with you. And also just a big thank you once again for SonicWall, giving away Take a Lot vouchers and pretty much sponsoring and enabling this to happen. So I can highly recommend, if you're worried about your cybersecurity, please reach out to Ashley and his team to connect with you to see if they can solve your problems. I got the last word.